The breaking news coming in right on the top of newsroom this evening is that the Indian Army has helped avert a potential crisis in Jammu and Kashmir. And for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Shiva Roor. The Army is putting out images of a big operation in the Zanskar range where apparently there was a major water build-up which could have been catastrophic. Tell us about it.
It was actually categorized as a national crisis. This happened under the Omar Abdullah government right before they lost power, right before the elections. And it was categorized as a national crisis. The Zanskar range is where this actually happened. The army has put out these photographs for the first time after a 60-day operation, the likes of which have never been seen before. 13,000 feet is where this operation is taking place, Rahul. 175 kilograms of explosives were actually used. This was after in January there was a massive landslide that hit the Zanskar range and after which 30 million
That's the water build-up in that picture?
That's the water build-up. Now these pictures show you a part of just how dramatic and dangerous this was. But the water, if it had burst through that landslide, the stuck land that had come down because of the landslide, it could have flooded, Rahul, the entire Zanskar Valley, parts of Padam and even major parts of Kargil itself. The Zanskar river could have created absolute havoc. There could have been deaths, there could have been complete destruction of livelihood. But for 60 days you had the government basically getting this thing going, calling it a national crisis.
Can we just take those
images
images on our entire screen, please, and explain to our viewers why this is such a significant accomplishment by the army? How did they actually achieve this, Shiv?
Because this happened in January, Rahul, 175 kilograms of explosives needed to be applied at an altitude of 13,000 feet right up in the Zanskar ranges. Now remember, the simple fact of the matter is that because of the weather, because of the chilly winds, the high altitude, the snow, the army actually couldn't use its mountaineers to get up there. And that's where the Air Force came into play. So believe it or not, this miraculous operation actually happened because the Air Force was involved as well. The army and the Air Force together had to get to those heights painstakingly over 2 to 3 weeks.
This is treacherous terrain.
Absolutely.
And if this happened at the dead of winter, then it's almost impossible. You need professional mountaineers to be able to reach anywhere around these mountains.
Rahul, you've seen what Kargil is like in January. This is 13,000 feet up in the ranges. So you can imagine it's absolutely desolate. They couldn't stay up there after each day. They had to actually get back down using helicopters in that weather. And this is not an operation that was completed in one day. It took 19 days with the application.
Why has it taken so long for all of us to find out about this?
I think the reason is because the army has actually tried to make sure that everything is absolutely fine and they can actually talk about it. Because even now, I'm told by my sources, even now there's a risk. They've been able to create a small hole in that landslide to get the water out in a controlled manner. But they say in their statement, they're still monitoring the situation and that they hope that things actually don't go out of control. So even as we speak, while I'm explaining this story here in the newsroom, we've got army personnel, NDRF personnel and Air Force helicopter pilots who are monitoring that at all levels and reporting back to the highest leadership.
This is a huge accomplishment for the armed forces, and it actually shows the army and the Air Force working together as a team. Because imagine the Zanskar Valley being flooded, the Kargil Valley being flooded. You're saying this could have been a national disaster.
That's what they're calling it. Yes.
It was a national emergency, and hats off to the men in uniform who've been able to do what professional mountaineers would stay away from.
Absolutely.
The winter chill, the wind speeds at that time, absolutely crazy. To be able to do this, hats off to the Indian Army. Thank you very much, Shiv, for joining us.